Welcome back.
Welcome back. It's been a couple weeks since the last time we recorded this.
2026 is Jover.
It's 2026? 2026 hasn't even begun yet, bitch.
That's what I'm saying.
2025.
It's fucking over.
Dog, 2025 sucked my ass and balls, but I'll get into that.
That's a lot of people. A lot of people felt that way.
This year sucks ass.
Common sentiment.
But this fucking podcast you already know is called Memory Lake. You all, the people listening to it, know who we are. So I don't even know why I do this as if they don't know who I am. Because I'm going to hear about this shit later. Do it. Shoot me, bitch.
Shoot
me now. Yeah. What did you do? But yeah. So Memory Leak. What's your name?
My name is Benjamin. I'm using mouse controls to Benjamin.
And my name is Geron. The Lamorne were not built to survive. Geron. And oh shit, you got wind on.
Yeah.
And we're post Game Awards, post Metroid Prime 4, post. We're at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Post hype.
Post hype.
The hype's gone.
Post hype cycle for anything.
The hype is over, boys.
Exactly. There's nothing to look forward to this year. And if there is, I don't know about it because I already spent a bunch of money and I'm not about to spend. Well,
what did you spend money on?
Huh?
What did you spend money on?
Games, toys, shit for other people.
Oh, because Christmas?
Yeah. And then, Christmas coming up in a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
And some other shit. What the fuck else did I spend money on? I mean, I have some money still dangling. Do it. I have some money just dangling to buy these fucking sales like $17
$17 for Cyberpunk with the DLC is like it's better than it's ever been on Steam.
Yeah, that's
it's a really good way to play the game.
Yeah, like I'm sitting here messing with the mouse. On
Anybody that only has one copy of it and has a Switch 2 is like it's worth getting to have a second copy
that you can cloud save.
Yeah, you
and
can do whatever the fuck you want with it,
which is pretty fucking crazy. Yeah. Straight up,
it's very good. Even just as like a tech demo.
Yeah, you just like, as a thing to see that your little.
If you spend $10 on the fucking what is it called again? I don't even remember.
Welcome tour.
The welcome tour. Then this should $17 is a no-brainer. Yeah,
I mean you probably have $17 just dangling on because we're all rich now because the economy is great.
America's back.
Nothing is expensive.
We have unlimited oil. Direct from Venezuela.
Yeah, direct from Venezuela, stolen directly from Venezuela. Did I say stolen? I didn't mean that. What do you mean? But look, what are we talking about first? You want to talk about Game Awards real quick?
No, all right, real quick.
Well, just real quick. So Claire Obscure basically swept.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It makes complete sense.
Everyone knew that was going to happen. I really don't take the Game Awards very seriously. I do think the game, what the game represented did deserve that. I haven't played through the game myself. So I can't say much. But at the same time, not long after that, the table started turning.
First it was Larian.
First it was
Baldur's Gate people basically being like, we got a new Divinity coming out.
Yeah.
Everyone is super excited.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, we also use Gen AI for concept art.
Concept art, which is pretty shameful. In my opinion, I think there are people that are paid well, that should be paid well to have human ideas.
Was full on crashing out.
Yeah.
Like a teenage kid.
Yeah.
On Twitter.
On fucking.
On X, the Everything app.
Yeah. Don't call it that.
It was the Everything app that day for him. It was interesting. It was interesting how he was justifying it. It was weird.
It was so it's so nasty seeing these dudes speak.
Yeah.
But like, all they got to do is shut the fuck up and understand the concern. That's it.
Right.
If they can understand the concern and shut the fuck up,
right,
then they can do better next time. But instead, they double down on
It's kind of funny. There was a thread going around recently about how all writing in video games is like just complete trash when you compare it to any other medium.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably
it's 100% true in my opinion.
But I think that also bleeds over into real life when they're writing the PR for these people.
Right.
It comes off as the corniest, cringiest, like shittiest, like most reversing PR. It's like it's amplification of damage.
Yeah. It's very, very, very ironic for something, for video games where min-maxing is a concept where you minimize the amount of goodwill you get and you maximize the amount of bullshit you provide.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you want to cut some kind of artistic component out of the artistic process of creation, it's like you're really shooting not just yourself in the foot, but the whole industry in the foot.
Yeah, everybody.
It delegitimizes the entire industry of like the whole thing we've talked about for years now of like our games art. It's like you're making them not art.
Yeah,
you're choosing
cheapening it. You're cheapening everybody's work
to fully productize and fully cheapen everything that's going on.
It's the exact same kind of thing when creative people work for free, they devalue the work of the people around them.
Yeah. It was really interesting. What was it? It was something about there's two thoughts that were just in my head. One is the discussion about like with Gen AI, you're given exactly what you ask for.
Yeah.
So when you use that for concept art, which is like the starting point of like the creative process for TV shows, for movies, for video games, for comic books, whatever it is.
Anything, especially something with a lot of different components.
Yeah, and like the exchange of information and ideas of someone saying this is what I want to see and someone else interpreting it creatively is the beginning of the process.
And that's how you start getting
creative exchange and like the gray area of like the two human minds filling in the gray space is important, you know? And when you basically get exactly what you ask for, something is lost. Something is lost.
Completely
something tangible is lost.
Something very important is lost. And it's not like...
I mean, look through this thing, right? It's like people ask for things and rarely do directors have a 100% exactly perfect idea of what it should be.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting when like, you know, in the Metroid Prime concept art book that I'm looking at right in front of me,
underneath my
you can see all the different iterations and variations that somebody might have come up with in the interpretation of what the game director was asking for.
Yeah.
And that's interesting, you know, and it's weirdly relevant that Ryan had requested me to find good copies of the Lord of the Rings appendices.
Yeah.
Because they spend so much time talking about this specific process.
This exact
they go through every single scene and they start with the concept art.
Yeah.
They contracted these two guys that had been doing Lord of the Rings Tolkien concept art for like decades. Mm-hmm. And Peter Jackson went and found one guy lived in Switzerland, one guy lived... I think he was local to New Zealand.
Yeah.
But he found them and he flew them in and they were like the spearheaders of the project. And he would go through all this concept art that they had built from Tolkien's own books, which he admittedly had an explicit detail, right? And they were kind of giving their spin on it.
There's a whole thing.
But it was really interesting seeing Peter Jackson be like, this is the picture I really like. And I'd like what they had drawn would be like a piece of the whole thing. It would be like one image of the front of Bag End, or it would be like the bottom fourth of Saruman's tower, whatever.
Yeah.
Isengard. And he'd be like, I want to see the whole thing, right? And then they have to creatively come up with what the whole thing looks like.
Yeah.
And if you were to do that with the ChatGPT, you would inarguably get something lesser.
You would
get some kind of a weird copy paste of what was already there.
Shit that already exists. You'd objectively get something.
Variation.
The completely removes the wonder from it, which is, you know, that element is created by that element is not created like consciously.
Right.
It's something that happens when you try to get to a result.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like a brain and the physical act of even drawing something is how you get to stuff like that.
Yeah.
So my friend, she gave me because she happened to have an extra copy of a book full of like concept art from the Fellowship of the Ring movie.
Oh, that's cool.
So I was like the whole thing is perfect. Because I was looking at shit.
I have a book of the Star Wars concept art too.
Yeah, and I was looking at stuff in there. I was like, oh my god, I can see where somebody saw this for other media,
right,
and peeled some of the ideas from this,
right,
and built on top of those, which is what.
That's the argument that people make for ChatGPT. Is like, well, humans are just copy pasting their own experiences,
but humans are doing it. Oh my god, that's such nonsense. Humans are doing it in a way, in a something that's, you know, like at least a little bit emotionally driven.
Yeah.
I also think what they see.
It's done in a way where it's like kind of like how every fingerprint is uniquely different or whatever, and like every snowflake is a little bit different. Yeah. Like those little differences are what make it feel authentic.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It makes me think of the difference between like somebody playing a live recording of a piece of classical music versus hearing a highly produced where you rub all of the imperfections
edges,
off of it. And I think that's like objectively. This is actually why I never really liked Yo-Yo Ma as a musician, is because to me it's so perfect that it loses almost some of the personality of the person that's playing it, which is maybe a little bit of a hot take, but like you compare that to some of the older cellists from like the 50s and 60s and stuff like that, and there's a specific personal characteristic to the way that they play where you can tell who exactly is playing it for other pieces. And for me, Yo-Yo Ma kind of loses that a little bit. You know, it's almost like machine-like to a degree.
And there are some people that, you know, that live for that machine-like precision when it comes, like they practice for it. They want.
But to me, that's sort of like where the artistic becomes more scientific.
Yeah. And, you know, that's like Alex has said multiple times, which is, I agree with him on this kind of thing. It's like the difference between like an art and a craft.
Right.
Because after a certain point, when you start getting to the point of perfecting music, you're just making that chair look great.
You're making the chair
rather
over
than
and
worried
over again.
about the chair itself. You know what I mean? But yeah. So in the case of like Larian, I mean, they have that, and then they have like the sexual abuse. It's game studio shit.
Oops.
It's not good.
The classic.
Yeah, it's like, it's not good. Why does this keep fucking happening? And like,
oops.
I think it's going to keep happening until
how incapable video game companies are of being run like businesses.
Dog, seriously,
like,
I don't understand.
Businesses.
It's
like the
template is there.
HR department.
What are they doing? Like, why isn't it taken seriously? It's
that's pretty crazy.
Like this kind of stuff is I don't know. This kind of shit should be really easy. It's been done by many other companies, and not every video game
many
studio
other
like
artistic mediums.
Yeah.
Granted, I mean, you did have Harvey Weinstein terrorizing the entire industry for a while, so.
And I think
maybe it's not that different.
I think there is an unfortunate need to be a rock star, quote unquote, in all this shit. And like, I already think the music industry is nasty. Like, just like disgusting.
For sure.
For a lot of reasons. And I think trying to emulate that in any regard is the key to fucking up
I think it's
the perception of your business eventually.
I imagine there's some element of when the product you're making is artistic and you have the ability to say no on subjective grounds, not even objective grounds, that inherently infects people. Yeah. You know, that's like almost the human original sin type situation where it's like you kind of can't get around it when it's this subjective like that.
Yeah. So. The fucking like I completely understand what you mean, especially when it's like if you can decide what happens and what doesn't, and you don't really
just for no reason.
Yeah, your explanation literally only has to be I don't like it.
Yeah, it's like it's not artistic. It's not original.
There's no objectivity to it, which is fine. Which is fine in general.
Then
but
the relationships become more transactional to take the place.
Exactly. Like that it can't come down to that, because then it's like, do I like you? Okay, well your shit. I'm going to approve most of your shit because you're doing this and this and this for me. And like even that show. What's it called? Your wife was watching the shit. Literal kind of thing just happened. Yeah.
That's like, Los Angeles in a nutshell.
Yeah, literal exact thing happened before I got up in the show. So fucking. But this leads down to Expedition 33, which it's like a fan. This kind of stuff didn't happen with that game. Right. Let me be straight up. As far as we know, nothing like that.
Didn't they use Gen AI for assets?
So they use generative AI for what they said was placeholder assets. Okay.
But they slipped in.
I guess I get it. But some of that slipped into the game at launch, which they then patched out pretty soon after that.
That actually does kind of make sense when you think of like trying to play through a game with like the out of the box Unreal like pillbox dude or whatever. Yeah. It's like give me something a little bit more to like just react to from a game mechanics and framework perspective.
It was a texture anyway.
Okay.
So it was like, but I do I think
the hard part is not even necessarily like did Claire Obscure maybe use Gen AI for a texture or whatever. Yeah. It's more just like you're just never gonna know. It's getting more and more to the point where nobody's gonna know. Valve is like, you have to disclose AI, and now the Game of the Year award winner didn't disclose AI at all.
Well, that's the thing.
Where's the line? And how do people get policed? You can't. You straight up cannot.
They did disclose it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they said
on Steam.
It wasn't through that channel. That's the thing.
That's kind of what I mean.
And when they had to take it out, they had to take the thing out. Of course they did. It's not on, like, if you go to buy it on Steam, I don't believe it brings up a little indicator, because technically there's that Gen AI stuff isn't in there technically, as far as we know.
Yeah.
But the other thing was they then did start saying that they didn't use Gen AI, depending on who you asked, which is how that
yeah, that's right. It was like their PR person, right? Yeah. Their PR person was like, no, we never used it for anything at all, right? But then there were other interviews where like, well, we use it for these very specific, like, parts of the development process.
It's one thing to use it at all. It's another thing to admit that you're using it. Like, if you admit that you use it, at least people can make the choice based on how they feel about this. It's another thing to use it and then obfuscate.
Yeah, try to hide it. Try to bring it under the carpet.
Did you use it or did you not? Oh, it's not in the game, but did you use it?
Yeah.
And that's,
it's tough, man. I mean, we're like 2 years into Gen AI as a concept.
Like
5 years from now, straight up, nobody's going to be able to tell. And we're just going to be swimming through who knows what.
There's going to be so much like actual sludge that's actually made by AI.
It's like, going to be impossible to know the difference. And we're just going to be inundated with it, and that we're going to get desensitized and numb to it.
And this is why it's really important that everyone practices their critical reading, their critical every critical skill that you can think of,
right? That
comes with, because if you get writing that's created by Gen AI in your narrative game, it's like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Is it, if you like the story, that's one thing, but is it worth anything when it was spat out by ChatGPT or any other AI, generative AI thing, just language model of any kind? Is that like, if it's creating the thing, not just enhancing it, like enhancing it with DLS, all that shit, all using the same kind of like learning model, like large learning model, whatever. But when it's starting from zero, or starting from, I want this villain to be like this, and you just shit out a story, that's not a story anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's just, you may as well be reading a receipt.
Yeah.
And that sucks. The more stuff that is like that, the more like ridiculous I'm going to have to be about people
like recommending
like
games,
lauding that, like putting that stuff forward and saying, oh, this is great. I'm like, are you sure it's great? Have you, like, this isn't better than that. It's just it's literally a remix of these three things. And it's obvious because that's where the shit pulled it from.
It's hard to say, man, because like there's already games like that,
True.
It's gonna enable them to do that faster and more frequently. So there's gonna be more of that.
Yeah.
I don't really know what the answer is.
I mean,
I don't think there is.
There isn't an answer.
It's just like, this is probably what's going to happen. Yeah. And you just got to be ready for engaging with that on whatever level you're comfortable with.
The answer was go back in time and prevent this from happening in the first place. But you can't do that.
No.
So you're going to have a bunch of developers that have, the ones that have the money to not compete on the, to compete despite the AI shit and not have to use the AI shit, they're going to use the AI shit.
Right.
Like most of them, not all of them. But
we shill Nintendo a lot on this stuff, but it's like they, like, the way that they work seems somewhat obvious that they're not going to engage with this, at least for as long as is reasonably possible.
That's what I'm saying.
That's kind of how they were with every piece of technology.
Exactly.
That's how they were with the internet, with online multiplayer games, with online functionality. Hell, even still, there's no like chat function or anything, Well, I mean, like, there's no DM function.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I didn't mean game chat, like voice chat.
You mean like text? Yeah, like messaging.
Right. No messaging system. So they've always been like, quote, behind.
Yeah.
Like technology, and so like this, we've at least got a few years to like feel comfortable that they're not gonna touching it.
Yeah. I mean, and for all intents and for everything that is, considering all like some Western studios that they've bought up as support studios, they're probably experimenting with it as we speak.
Well, they were probably experimenting with just to know what it did. But then they were probably like, "This is kind of fucking not good."
It sucks,
which I think is like
for our developers.
we saw that happen with Studio Ghibli, where like Miyazaki was presented with, oh, look at this like weird, creepy creature that now we can like generate. No human can come up with this, and he's like, this is like the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So you should be ashamed for putting this in front of me.
That's such a fucking good response to that kind of shit, anyway.
Yeah, he used some like crazy strong language. Like he was like, "This is sinful" or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, by all means, it fucking is. And that like the fact that highly. So my little thing with Clair Obscur is people do say different than they do, and like it's known that the game is kind of full of Unreal assets and other kind of things like that.
It's kind of got that sheen to it.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like that's known. It's fine,
especially because they're like a small studio.
Yeah, like they were small and they started as they needed more stuff.
That's normal though.
Which it is normal.
That's how Silksong is.
Yeah,
Silksong is made by 3 people that has like 100 people contracted to help with finalizing. Testing, whatever it is.
And it's important to know that these companies do have money. It's not like they're making this in their fucking garage or anything like that. And it is important to know that of course they're going to use any tool that they can to get a certain quality that they envision, with the least amount of as little friction as possible. If reasonably, you don't want to take the hard way forward, just for quote unquote moral reasons if you don't have to. And again, I understand them using AI to make junk like placeholder textures and shit like that. But it also means that they need to be very clear that they're doing it, and they can't obfuscate, and they need to make sure people that are.
I just worry for the point where it's just so overwhelming that it's like nobody can keep up with that checking. It's like a studio makes a game that people play and find to be very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Completely, or like 90% generated by AI.
I was gonna say, like once we get to the point where someone's playing a game where people, like maybe millions of people, are playing a game that they all love and it was not made by people, it's like I'm done with it. Like I'm serious. Like people don't believe that, but I would be
within
serious.
The next 10 years.
So I'm and within the next 10 years I'll be looking at 50. So maybe it's time to put down the toys. No, but one way or the other, I do think I think it's important for people to know.
I mean, I do think at some point we will be able to see and know that there are games made entirely like quote unquote by hand.
Yeah.
Kind of like we see that with like certain art styles. Like the Disney hand-drawn style.
But
doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's very recognizable.
Very clear. Clear. Yeah.
So I do feel like that'll be kind of the same case with games to some degree.
Jesus.
Excuse me. Which, if it's true that it's like recognizable, that at least makes it easier to know what is worth engaging in.
That's true. And it'll save me some money at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'll be less way more discerning about what games I spend money on, especially with how expensive they're becoming.
Right.
And I think that them becoming more expensive and then them using this AI shit, especially when it comes to like Call of Duty and Battlefield and stuff like that, it sucks so bad. You're paying more for
way less cost.
Shit. Yeah. Like you're getting actual shit.
Yeah.
Like this is beyond like consumer friendliness or whatever. It's I typically don't call developers lazy, especially having been behind the curtain.
Right.
If you're using generative AI for real content in your game, then the whole thing is fucked.
Here's a question for you now, though, to make a comparison, right?
Yeah.
In my job, it's pretty common now to use AI to give you like a starter script.
Sure.
This is not an artistic endeavor by any means. It's I need to
before.
query a database to get data out and analyze it, right? Yeah. So the first thing somebody might start with is create me a blank stored procedure script that will load a table with 10 columns. The first 5 are text, the next 5 are integer. Give me that blueprint, right? Spits it out, and then I change the column names, I change whatever, and then boom, I've got my query, and I'm off to the races.
So that's purely information, right?
It's purely information, but in the world of games, do people code still in games? People, right? It's not just still all GUI based, right?
Yeah.
Unreal is mostly GUI based, though, isn't it?
It's you can do the entire thing
in the GUI.
Way.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is there just like a code view where it's you can crack open the hood?
That's the only way you can get these old games in Unreal Engine and port them up.
So if somebody were to spin up a prototype to be like, here are the 5 functions I want to start with, generate them for me. And then they go and curate them and tweak them. Like, I want a first-person shooter. That's going to be my starting point, and that's all I'm going to use AI for. And it's going to spit me out a framework of code, and it's going to be the worst-feeling first-person shooter, but it's a starting point. And then you change the values, you change the turning speed, you change the sensitivity, you change whatever, you change the recoil kickback. What are your thoughts on that usage of it?
So that is a little bit harder to detect. That's harder to know what's going on there. I think because I'm not a coder, so my opinion on this is not, doesn't have the same kind of water as like, art that you see.
Right.
I think, at least in my opinion, that should be minimal. I think it's like
basically where I'm going with this is if the Gen AI is used for everything engine driven.
Sure.
Well, maybe it wouldn't even be 100%, right? But that the only usage of AI has nothing to do with like the assets, the music, the visuals, the textures, the models, right?
Yeah.
Everything is used from a scripting and a like engine perspective, and then tweaked by whoever to like speed up that process.
I think that's like the most boring thing you can do, because I think a lot of problem solving when it comes to
because here's what I think about, right? I think about Unreal Engine, how many fucking complaints people have about it.
Sure.
And then you look at something like the Luminous engine.
Yeah.
Is that Luminosity? What is the the Death Stranding engine?
I think.
Or no, is that that might be the Square Enix engine?
Something Illumina. Yeah. I think is that the Final Fantasy 15 one?
One of them is the Final Fantasy engine, and one of them is the Death Stranding engine.
The Decima engine.
Decima engine.
That's Guerrilla's. Yeah, that's what they use for Death Stranding. So that's different. Yeah.
Well, but my point being, that's a high barrier of entry for someone to make their own engine.
Sure.
I'm wondering if ChatGPT closes that gap a little bit to like if somebody has an idea and they have a lot of experience in game engine usage, and they know what all of the pitfalls are, but then maybe they don't have the resources, the manpower, the whatever to go and like make a new engine that runs better and is more optimized, and they can just tweak it to get what they want.
Yeah.
I wonder if that might be a positive usage of Gen AI for the industry.
That would have to be a wait and see kind of thing. Because I like I was saying, I think that's like the most boring way to do something like that.
You're working on the numbers behind the scenes.
I think
the matrix of it.
Yeah, and I think people that are, because I believe coding for a video, for like an entertainment product is also a creative endeavor. So that like I'm thinking through the question the more I'm thinking more through it.
You could say that in general, like coding is a creative endeavor inherently because it's like writing to some degree.
Yeah, and I it's writing, it's problem solving, and I think solving those problems via like it needs to be like 99% human made, because there's obviously pre-made shit you can just get, and that, like what's the difference between the pre-made shit and generative AI generating something using the pre-made shit that you use and start.
And it gets really blurry really fast.
Yeah.
That's the tricky part, right?
Yeah.
Just in my own personal experience, right? Like even one of the best use cases of it, one of the most useful things genuinely that it does is help you solve a very specific question that otherwise would have you coming through fucking Stack Overflow and Google and forums, and you just can't find exactly a relevant answer to what you're getting.
Yeah.
You put it in ChatGPT and it tells you exactly what to do, and it's right. Which has happened to me with the server, like multiple times with the server. When we first set the server up, it didn't exist. ChatGPT didn't exist. Yeah. This was like 5 years ago at the beginning of COVID.
Sure.
And so over the last 1 to 2 years, thinking about how we expanded based on what we have, the way the server is set up, the PC we're using, the parts that we have, connections we have, like being able to plug all those things in and for it to be able to instantly scrape and synthesize all these forum answers and Reddit and whatever, and be like, this is what you need to do. Try this first and let me know if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it works instantly is crazy.
So I do think using it as for like getting through a database of information, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's not necessarily generating anything, it's just curating the information. It is like, I think there's a strength in a person being able to figure how to do that themselves, but it also is a thing where that information is just sprawled out all over the place, and this thing can sweep through it all. As resources intensive as it might be, I wouldn't want to use this. I wouldn't want to use it as a regular thing, despite Google forcing me to with its fucking AI overview. Every time I do shit, I can't fucking stop it. I want to turn that off because a lot of the time I get an answer. I'll get an answer from it that is
straight up not right.
I will say, how do I do this? But I can't do it. I don't have this thing. They'll say, get this thing. I'm like, I can't. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the answer without that element.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in that regard, because I like the medical field and everything like that.
Right.
Being able to get information, being able for it to get through objective information.
Yeah,
I think that's a perfectly fine use.
Right.
I think when it comes to anything that has an element of subjectivity, once you rely on that, you're removing in a very important part.
And it's hard to draw that line. It's hard to draw that line.
Oh, where from objectivity and subjectivity?
Yeah.
I don't know about hard.
All right. So when it comes to objectivity and subjectivity and where I think the line gets blurry, right?
Yeah.
I was saying like, okay, spin me up or answer this question. I'm trying to solve this problem. How do I do X, Y, and Z given that I have A, B, and C, right?
Sure.
Now, going back to the game engine analogy, right? Yeah. Let's say that I have in my head the exact 5 functions that I want to implement for a game. These are the 5 things I want to do. I know sort of how to do them. And then I start going like, okay, well, give me the starting point of how you would do them, and then I'll go and tweak them. Let's say I'm creating Metroid Prime, right?
Fine.
And then I have a function for Morph Ball, I have a function for Jump, I have a function for Power Beam, so on and so forth, right? Let's say I build 3 of them, and then the 4th one, let's say missiles. I'm just like, well, I've got Power Beam, take what I've written here from Power Beam and make it a little bit slower, make it do more of an explosive blast or whatever.
Yeah.
Write me a function for building a missile, it spits something back out, and then I go and tweak it further and put it back in the game. I think the lines start to get pretty blurry. Especially if you're using it to comment on your own creation.
Yeah. I'm thinking, like I said, I'm not a coder.
This is 100% how it's going to be used by every video game company like tomorrow.
I realize. So if let's say it's using a database of like in your example, we're talking about you say Metroid Prime as if it's not.
As if it's a new game.
As if it's a brand new thing.
It's a brand new game.
Like if it's scraping through code and things like that of like publicly available solutions, and then it's using.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it would even have the code for anything that hasn't been like decomped, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying. So it's coming up with stuff, and I think seeing how it does it, but not implementing it, like not even tweaking it on top of it, just seeing how it does it is probably valuable.
Right.
I think that's
kind of what I'm thinking.
Fine. I think using exactly what it put out and then changing it and then putting it in the game.
I think that's always going to be dog shit, though.
Which one?
The just unchanging it at all.
Unchanging it at all.
That's always going to be dog shit.
That's what I'm saying. That's unquestionably going to be dog shit. I'm saying like tweaking on top of what it spat out is still, I think it's still a little problematic. It doesn't really consider the rest of everything else that's going on in the
yeah, but that's where it would be up to the designer to make that call, right? It gives you the alpha version, and then it's up to you based on like player feedback and feedback from other developers you're working with to potentially iterate on that.
And I think, okay.
Like you have the skill set to iterate on it, right? It's more just to save time by giving you an initial thing to react to.
And I think Okay,
it's almost like what Pedro mentioned about in the legal court, using it to give you a boilerplate, giving you like breaking the writer's block, right?
Sure. I think if I were a director of a game and I had been given a mandate by like the producer or whatever to utilize AI tools in some way, I think I would limit it to like in this particular context. I think it would be limited to seeing how it handles certain problems and then using that as a place to go from. But you can't integrate what it spat out into the project. If I caught that, you're obviously wouldn't be my call because I'd be the director, not the fucking anything else, not the executive producer or something. You're out. Like that's unacceptable to me. I think if you need to understand how a certain technique works or anything like that, fine. That's the most. And like I said, it would have to be a mandate to utilize it.
Yeah.
If I catch you, like even in the Expedition 33 example, if I caught you using it to make a texture and you implemented that texture in some way that could possibly show up in the game, you're out. I don't want your work.
Right.
It's not your work. It's not work. It's you misused a tool in my mind. It's like using you needed to. I don't know what analog I have for that, but you're out. Like the best, the closest use is something that feels like you're looking through a database by letting the AI. That's
right.
It.
Right. Like a search engine, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like you said, objectivity and subjectivity. This is a point of subjectivity where if my line is the moment it's doing something that you should be doing, I don't want it.
Yeah, it's like, why do I need you?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. Like if it's doing this, then you can go.
Right.
I'll just ask it what you asked it. I don't need you.
And I think this is where what Tim Rogers said about why like what game you like, how do you value whether a game, like what kind of a game was made?
Yeah.
Like the two things came down to, I'm paraphrasing this poorly already, was like, can this be replicated by anybody or anything?
Yeah.
Right? Like, can this thing that I created be replicated? And the other piece being like, why is it worth coming from me specifically? What point of view do I bring to this that's unique that can't be replicated? Right? It's like it's this integration of these two concepts of like replicability that I think is what's going to continue to make games interesting and successful, is because only a human's ever going to be able to do that, right?
Yeah.
Gen AI will never be able to do that level of distinctive uniqueness. Right?
It will not be able to bloom something actually.
It's not going to be able to bloom something. It's not going to be able to do it from the perspective that you bring to it, right? It's like people play Hideo Kojima games because Hideo Kojima brings his worldview, his experience, the way that he sees things, the way that he appreciates art and implements that.
And even further than that, the people that he keeps around him are also kind of put things on track.
Exactly.
So you're getting a human collaborative effort.
Yeah.
That like this is the dude that made fucking NGS2.
Right.
Like that.
But more importantly, I think Death Stranding is an interesting one to talk about because Death Stranding is a quote unquote walking simulator, right?
According to people,
the two things that Tim Rogers was mentioning that I think are going to continue to be as more important, if more important than ever, given the face of Gen AI, is what's the value of the person that created it?
Yeah.
Like what does it matter that they created versus somebody else? And then also how easy is it to replicate that game? Right.
Yeah.
Again, going to the idea of it being a walking simulator. Sure. But like, if you look at any of like, there aren't that many, but if you look at the other attempts at making sort of like a walking simulator, which there are a couple, like they don't feel the same.
They're all different.
They're
like
all not the same, right? Yeah. So it's like Death Stranding does something very intentional with the way that the game feels and the way that it connects with its message and all that stuff. Like the holistic experience of Death Stranding and the way that all of the gameplay systems, the themes, the writing, the dialogue, the characters all interconnect, especially for the time that it came out, cannot be replicated.
Yeah, the game came out pre-COVID.
Straight up cannot be replicated, right? That prophetic nature of it connecting people together.
Yeah.
That cannot be replicated. And then also like no one can replicate the what Hideo Kojima informs in the game's creative process.
From his personal.
So I think those two things will continue to be important in game development and game creation. It's going to continue to sort of act as a filter, in terms of what people want to engage with.
I think in that regard too, we're slowly coming, like, indie games did this thing. I've mentioned this before, and Alex has heard me say it, where they kind of just imitate stuff that already exists.
Exactly. And it's almost like Chat GPT version 0.
Exactly.
It's like they just copy paste the shit that they think they saw.
Yeah.
And then like spit it out.
And
you like, feel that when you play the game. It's like,
I noticed
this is like kind of not right.
Like when
you know what, it's like close enough where it's almost an uncanny valley.
Exactly.
An uncanny impersonation of a game that already exists.
It's like those I don't remember what the game was called. Like that Star Fox imitation that I was like, dog, I don't really want this. I want the real thing. If you like, don't just make something else. It's right. But you can have the gameplay be something. You can make it something else. I don't need it to be the fucking sitcom version of the generic sitcom version of some game I like. Yeah. I don't want that. And what the point I was getting at with that was
this is turning into a decent segue.
Oh yeah,
into our second topic.
But just before we press the plus button on that,
I get it.
We're getting to the point where we're starting to run through the people who didn't live online for most of their lives.
Right.
We're starting to get those people whose life experiences have been online, who've been
permanently
in front of a screen,
online.
Who've been with a controller in their hand, which is like fine. But we're not. It's not. We're gonna get a lot of repeats of shit that we already have because they liked that stuff when they were younger. That's what they think.
It is a really good analogy for ChatGPT and also the creative process because when you think about it, some of the best creatives in their field are also the people that engage with it the least.
Exactly.
So they carry the least amount of what already exists into their process, right? In games, I always think of Gunpei Yokoi.
Yeah,
just being a toy designer with no experience with development or software.
He was a janitor at fucking Nintendo. Like he was basically cleanup crew, and then he made the little Ultra Hand and what's his? Not Arakawa, Yamauchi. So what he was doing was like, we need you doing stuff, don't we? And that's how we got stuff like that.
And that's interesting. Like that's where creativity comes from, is through almost like a limit of information and a limit of capability. Yeah. Like that's where sort of creativity thrives.
Right.
Like again, some of the greatest actors like just never even watch their own work. And they don't watch other movies. They just act. Like, they're like stage actors that happen to also do movies for just like their 9 to 5.
Yeah, like fucking Harrison Ford is a really good example because he doesn't give a fuck about Star Wars.
Oh, he hates Star Wars.
He doesn't give a shit about that.
Not only does he not give a shit about it, he actively dislikes Star Wars.
Like he is someone who played a role for he did a job. He did his work. He did what he does for that thing. He's not obsessed. That was another thing that he did, and then he went and did Brave New World, and I don't know why he picked that one.
Which is funny because he seemed more excited to do Brave New World than any Star Wars project.
Yeah, which the irony of that rolling back into something that owns Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars adjacent. But speaking of Star Wars, speaking of all this kind of thing, what was the next thing we were going to talk about?
So Prime 4, on the topic of I want the real thing, when it comes to Star Fox and people making cheap imitations.
Yeah.
Metroid Prime is a very interesting example of that.
Mm-hmm.
Their Metroidvanias are a dime a fucking dozen these days. Even 3D ones. I mentioned this the last time we talked about it. A lot of good 3D Metroidvanias out there, and so
some games you might not even realize are actually Metroidvanias when you get down to it. They just don't people don't talk about it that way.
Yeah, the design may not carry into the sort of visual UI and stuff like that. Yeah. But it's interesting because we've got Prime 4, right, which is a bit of an enigma. I'll call it. It's an enigma. I still have mixed feelings. I beat the game.
Yeah, sure.
I'll go first because I want to hear your full spiel and be untainted by it.
Sure.
Still mixed feelings. I think in different ways though.
Mm-hmm.
I still think the desert's like kind of hogwash.
Sure.
Like I get your point about it being kind of relaxing to collect the crystals, but it goes back to my point of like I think the pacing and the way that they give the player information is like so like fucked up and uninformed that it's like Why is the radar so late in the process?
Yeah.
Why do they not tell you that there's 200% of the crystals in the game that you can get? Why do they give you the power bomb last and not tell you that you're going to be able to get these huge amounts of crystals at the end of the game, to the point it doesn't even matter if you're getting the ones in the beginning? You know, it's like from a pacing perspective and what they're telling the player, it's like the desert could be completely fine, if not good, with small changes, small tweaks. Like the details matter, and that's kind of like the thing is like the details make all the devil's in the details, and they make all the difference in Prime 4. And I think that's kind of like the delineation between, depending on who you are, it being a 10 out of 10 or like a 4 out of 10.
Thanks, Edge.
Like, I know exactly. You know what I was going with that. Like that, it all comes down to just small little details that could have been like, this is not a development time thing. Like these are these are details that absolutely could have been done with, with the cycle that they were working with. I think all of the scenarios in the different biomes are all great. I have no complaints about the flare pool. I have no complaints about the mines. I do think the last boss was a bit of a limp soggy salad.
I don't disagree with that. I'll get to that.
I do feel like in the ending too, I was like, that was a really strange ending.
It's a weird fucking game.
It feels like it has to be setting up for another game, right? Like it almost like doesn't make sense for it not to set up for an intentional second game.
I have two thoughts about that, but we'll
so that's, I thought the ending was really weird, and it goes back to my point of like the way the game is like paced and exchanges information and the impressions it gives to the player at certain points in the game is like the biggest thing working against the game, because there's so much good in the game. I do think I've walked back my comments of the game going from like a 9 to like a 7 to a 5. Like I think overall the game is probably somewhere in that 7 to 8 range. Like in terms of the enjoyment that I got overall on average. The set pieces, so on and so forth. One of the other complaints that I thought was also valid that I saw online was enemy variety. I think that's a totally valid.
You can feel that just by looking at the scans.
Right.
At the
and when you see that you're at like 80% scans, like
a third of the
way in the game, it's like,
What'd you get a Vibrate for?
Nintendo Music has the Wii Party game added.
Oh, yeah. I literally got the Vibrate right at the same time. That's ridiculous. Yeah.
That's funny. So I think that kind of covers it up. I think the game's fun. I think the game's fine. I think most of the complaints about the game that got the most traction and engagement were mostly overblown. I do think the desert, I don't think it's as bad as people made it out to be, but I also think it could have been actively good. Like
it could have been more than just a desert.
Like something to get through.
So is there any other like outstanding thing? Because spoilers, whatever. I don't give a fuck.
No, not really. I mean, I think that covers. I like that Silex's morphball mode was in it.
I did. I liked that. I liked with the moment I saw the lockjaw, I was like,
that was good.
Cool, good. I'm glad he's here.
That made me be like, all right, where's the Hunter's remake?
He actually even properly drains your health. Beam. I was like, this is like.
It was like proper Silex. Yeah. And I like going through that, I was like, where's the Hunter's remake?
But where is the Hunter style game?
Right. They some kind of multiplayer.
Yeah,
exactly. That would satiate me for Kid Icarus, I think.
For what?
For Kid Icarus.
Yeah,
some kind of like
similar style.
Some kind of Unreal style, like Unreal Tournament.
Like Unreal Arena shooter.
Yeah, arena shooter. It doesn't have to be a hero shooter or whatever. It doesn't have to have like points systems or anything like that. Doesn't have to have objectives. Just give me deathmatch.
Just give me a couple maps, give me a reasonable like, objective mode and a deathmatch. Make it drag drive price.
That would be nice. That'd be cool. So
blast
off.
If we're talking about Prime 4.
So you played the game twice.
I played the game 100% twice.
You are an authoritative voice here.
I've seen.
You also dabbled back into Prime 1, I feel like, to probably compare how it felt.
Did you see that? I went through, I just played the whole game again.
Oh, you just played the whole game? I played
the entirety of Metroid Prime 1.
Okay. And then jumped back into 4.
And then I went and looked at 4. I was like, okay. So Metroid Prime 4 is a weird game, like we said. I think it's a very well-made game.
I agree with that.
It's got plenty of issues that come down to how you feel about the way things work with something called Metroid and video game, like adventure video games in general.
Right.
This particular game, in my opinion, does feel like like I was about to say with the gallery section in Metroid Prime 4, you don't see a lot of things that look very different from how they ended up in the game. I think production started
recently,
like pretty relatively recently, and I think announcing the game.
It's interesting because you compare it to the art book that we've got here. There's a lot of shit that was cut.
There's a lot of shit here that it has nothing to do with
completely
anything,
different,
or it looks like Dark Samus looks like slimy and meaty and shit.
Right.
And obviously that was leveled out for the sake of the game because it was Wii, GameCube, whatever.
It's interesting because I do like people talked about executive control over Nintendo.
Yeah.
But the point you're making, I think, is actually there was probably very little executive control from Nintendo.
Yeah.
There's probably little feedback that they were comfortable giving, given how much the game costs to make.
And I think the game, a lot of the stuff in the game, at least from that concept art that they had there, looked pretty finished.
Yeah.
Which makes me think they use maybe the first or second idea that they had. Because the game was being developed by Bandai Namco Singapore, which is now Nintendo Singapore, and it was given back to Retro Studios, and the people at Retro Studios are totally different people,
right?
For the most part,
from Prime 1,
from Prime 1, 2, 3, and that's fine. That's conceptually fine. I think they are wonderful artists. I think the sound design is great. I know a lot of this stuff
like we said, the music, the sound, the visuals, top notch, 10 out of 10.
The moment to moment events of gameplay are. Yeah. I think moving...
Most of which I would say are good.
Moving, aiming, shooting.
Very good.
Yeah. All that stuff is good. I also think the game does a really bad job of showing you its good parts.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think the moments that it chooses to show the player and when it shows them are all fucked up in their timing.
Right. Like, so there's Grievers all over the game. This is speaking of enemy variety. You fight Grievers in almost every area of the game.
Yeah.
And those Grievers have a weak point. Those Grievers you can fight by counterattacking them. When they open their chest up, that's their weak point. When they're about to do something and the chest glows, you're meant to shoot it with a charge shot. And a lot of them, especially on normal, will go down immediately.
Does it say that in the logbook?
No.
Oh,
it doesn't show you that. Their understanding of discovery is with experimentation, but they don't give you the scenarios to experiment. They want you to experiment in stress, which is fine. But that's an action game thing, and I think a lot of people coming to a Metroid game don't want that. Right. That's why so many Grievers come out, because it gives you so many opportunities to learn what will take them down.
There's
a situation where you're told,
I have noticed that from the game, like the combat scenarios, they are, and that's I think also why they give you so many options in terms of the different beams and the elements. So it's like they do want you to experiment and figure out what combination of things works best in certain scenarios.
Right, exactly.
Like the enemies falling when you ice them. Like fucking around
falling
with that.
And they shatter instantly. Right. That's new to Metroid. Usually when you hit something with ice in a Metroid game, they stay in the air.
Right.
They can be used as a platform, but they even did that in Prime, which was Prime 1. Seeing that is ridiculous when you go back to it. And I think like a lot of people's issue with the combat in the original Prime game is that it feels like everything's a bullet sponge. And I've seen people complain about that in this game just in certain degrees. It was like, not really. You're meant to find a solution to these problems. Yeah. And this, like I said, this game doesn't give you the way it does so is not the same as it would be in a different game, because they give it to you so often, they still let you win.
Yeah.
When you're doing the quote unquote wrong thing,
right.
It just takes longer.
Right.
So it feels like
it's an efficiency test, like we've talked about.
Yeah. It's hard to, especially if you're trying to like review a game or talk about it or get through it. It's hard. Like if you're trying to get through that one time and you don't play it again,
right.
It might be tiring.
I am curious to go look up the boss strategies.
Yeah.
Because I sensed that there was something there.
Yeah.
Especially on the Omega Griever.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't able to figure it out.
Fair.
I was just like, I was trying to get through it, I was stressed.
Yeah, you were trying to move around. And
it's like Omega Pirate. It's like most people like don't know all the tricks with Omega Pirate.
The Omega Pirate in
the first time you do Omega Pirate is very stressful and you're probably gonna fucking
die.
Yeah.
Like the time I did it just now, it's 30 seconds.
Yeah.
30 seconds to a minute. You bomb it and then you
super missile.
You look at the pools and you super missile and then you're done. So that extends to the way like exploration works in the game, of which some people believe there isn't very much. I think it's toned down from what you expect from a Metroid game, and I think that's okay. Because I've seen people complain about the backtracking and things like that. That shit, I don't.
People could complain about that in Metroid 1. They complain about it in all Metroid games.
Yeah,
and I do think there is some truth to probably some general guidance that Retro got, and they probably agreed with, was that they need to expand the user base of Metroid.
Exactly. They
need use it as a fresh start, get as many people, try to recap as much of the cost of the game as they could.
Yeah, and they have enough elements that it feels like Metroid Prime, as well as being able to make sure people don't quit.
Right.
And I think those elements that are designed to keep people from quitting are in the way.
I do too.
I think I don't the NPCs, I actually like them. But I need to be able to turn off Miles text when I'm out in the desert because I'm doing other shit. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to pick up power-ups.
That shit is really annoying.
I'm like the first game, the second game let you turn off the hint system. Metroid Prime 3 lets you turn off the hint system, but the characters will still tell you for narrative, like when it's narratively relevant, that they will still tell you what to do
in the cutscenes.
Yeah, and I think if I could, I feel like they're not going to patch it. I don't think they're going to. But if it were up to me, I would just have the option.
It just because I don't understand why the logbook doesn't carry over. That's really weird to me.
I think that doesn't carry over because there isn't a lot of it.
But like, the first one carries over.
Yeah, the one in the first game carries.
But like, there's so many things you can miss in 4. Like, there's a lot of shit you can miss.
It's mostly bosses.
Yeah, but there's bosses that have many things. You know, just like Prime 1. Like, I missed one of the fucking hive. Yeah. It wasn't the hive mecha. It was the other one, the one that shoots fire.
The disposal thing.
The wasps that come out.
Yeah, the war. I think. There's a one-time enemy. Did you scan the wolves the first time you dealt with
I did. I got 100%.
So if you don't scan the wolves, I think they needed to do this more because they do it, but I think they need to do it more. But I missed the scan of the wolves on my first run. But when I went back to there's a wolf on the hill just kind of looking at you.
Oh, that's
so you
cool.
can scan it.
That's kind of cool.
And in fact, I think if you did scan them, that wolf won't show up.
I never saw that wolf.
Yeah. So like there's stuff like that. You can kind of get if you miss the bosses, you can scan the little holograms in that room.
If they had done that for everything, then it would have been completely fine. And then it would make sense that it doesn't carry over. But that's not the case.
There's enough little things you can miss. Though
one thing I was really pissed. I was about to be really pissed off about. Yeah. So in the Silex fight, when he takes your energy tanks, I didn't get the first one back, and my percentage of items went from 100 to 99. And I was like, oh my god!
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't.
No,
it doesn't hurt your percentage.
As soon as the battle's over, you have it back.
Right. That would be bullshit. But I had to assure somebody else that him taking it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So speaking of bosses, though, I think all the bosses were a lot of fun.
I thought the bosses were great.
I think
the bosses were genuinely great. Yeah. That they do feel like bullet sponges being on the first time.
I think that first time they do, but even on hard mode, I didn't think they felt like that after, because I think I kind of understood what, like the first boss, Carvex or whatever, Carmex, the fucking kidding, but you're meant to use the control beam.
Yeah,
and that's like, oh, okay, that's cool.
I fucked around with the control beam a lot more towards the end of the game when I remembered that I had it.
Yeah,
because it's interesting that it seems to do almost like an explosion of damage.
It does. You can drop it and then nuke it between some enemies and it will hit all of them.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't realize it worked. Like once I did, I was like, oh, I didn't realize it worked this way. I thought that was just it disappearing.
Right.
But that's another. The control beam is something I think is underutilized anyway.
Right.
I think
because it's kind of an action game. It's anti-action game fundamentally.
And they for the green energy, they give you a boost for it. It's cool that it's there. It doesn't really come up.
Yeah, I never used it.
The other thing was speaking of green energy, they give you the legacy suit, and the legacy suit has a power that lets you bring up a barrier.
I used that once.
I used
it once. No, maybe twice. I think I used that more. I actually did use that a couple times in Silex because missiles feel really like useless in this game.
I think so. I think that power is you get it too late.
Yeah.
I don't think it's not. It'd be useful if you could use it on another bosses.
Yeah.
And
it'd be cool if it carried over to hard mode.
To hard mode, yeah. Even if you didn't have the suit for it, you get to keep the ability or something. Yeah. But I think that ability would have been cool to have, like, to make the choice of, do I spend missiles to do damage or do I spend it on defense? And you only really get to try that on, like, in a meaningful way on Psylocke at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And it's like,
which I did, because I literally did not use missiles on Psylocke.
That's interesting, because I used the other shots. After
I used the other shots.
I used the other shots and missiles.
I used the shock.
Yeah, that one. That attack is hilarious. I have a bunch of videos of me just overkilling shit because I'm like, God, stop! We're like, relax. They're all dead.
It's good.
And I understand why they make it. That the thunder shot is like the most powerful thing in the game.
It's
so they save it for the end. You can't get the upgrades until the end, and it hits the scouts so you can see where the other power ups are.
Yeah.
But like on the bosses, like I said, I think the bosses are very well made. I think those are some of the best fights, like the best like action sequences in the game.
Right.
And I would.
They're some of the best bosses in the series.
Yeah, I wish there was a boss rush. Yeah. I wish any of these games had a boss rush like Dread does.
Yeah.
Because it would be fun to just... there aren't that many bosses, but there's more than you think. There's more than 4.
Yeah, there's the mini bosses, like the behemoth. And
the behemoth and the I think
the orb that has the triangles.
Oh, yeah.
A mini boss.
With the things. You fight that a couple of times.
Yeah.
So, on like the desert, I personally found myself having fun with it the more I decided to experiment with just the way driving works. But
I just wish there were more opportunities for that.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's a unique thing to me because I'm a big like game feel person. And I think we said this before, but I think they nailed the feel of everything in this game.
They did, for sure.
Just completely moving the morph ball around.
Completely agreed.
I think like the optimal way to play personally is with pointer controls. I think the free aim that carry over from Metroid Prime 3 is integrated into the bosses.
Did you play with mouse at all?
I played with mouse a little bit, and then I realized like pointer is definitely the way this game is kind of like designed around, because they looked at Metroid Prime 3 and they looked at Metroid Prime Trilogy, and they brought mechanically they brought that to the controls here. You can use dual stick, you can use all that.
I beat the whole game dual stick,
and they have like things where you can snap the stick to aim at little points with the alternative scheme for that. They have a lot of helpers for that. You have gyro aim and shit like that. Like, it's fine, I think, with dual stick. I played some of it that way when my Joy-Con batteries finally died. And I was like, oh, this is, it's completely viable. But I think the most fun, I think the game is like genuinely more fun with pointer controls.
How does it make driving feel?
Driving's a little weird. It takes some practice. It takes some practice because you're looking.
It's weird with mouse controls too. Yeah.
But you just gotta still yourself a little bit, drive and turn.
I did basically all of the item cleanup with mouse controls.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Nice.
I liked it.
I did some item cleanup on my Switch 1. Where I did main stuff on Switch 2, and then
that actually sounds kind of miserable because it's like the loading times are way long.
That's what I was going to say. The game runs on Switch 1 and it looks great, it runs great, but the loading times are insane in comparison to Switch 2. Like insane, actually. I think if you have the choice, you just play it on Switch 2.
Because they're not nothing on Switch 2.
Yeah, they're not zero on Switch 2. But at least like you only have to see Samus run for a few steps rather than
the classic sprint. One is the fucking infuriating.
Oh yeah, the
going back to the base camp.
Cargo, the cargo pod. The cargo pod on Switch 1 is like you press a button, that shit will just say loading. You're like, you can't skip this, sorry. But even still, what other aspects of the game can I think of that I haven't really mentioned? I don't want to get not the ending yet, but I can talk about the narrative.
I thought the legacy suit was really cool.
The legacy suit itself is cool.
With the Lemorne things, on the back of the helmet.
I think so, like the Lemorne, the story. I think the story is actually subtly better than it seems when you're just kind of taking it in, because I think I agree. It maintains a lot of mystery.
Right.
Which is great. I actually really like that. I feel like I'm in a place I'm not supposed to be.
The lore and the world building, I think, is good. Yeah. Like, actively good.
Yeah. And I think even them like calling Samus the Chosen One and everything, when I was playing through the game, I started to realize Samus isn't the chosen one.
No,
the chosen one is just whoever got
whoever.
there.
Yeah, that's right.
Whoever
that's
showed up. It could have even been Psylocke, but Psylocke
whoever got the fucking gem.
Yeah, Psylocke
implanted in their fucking brain.
Exactly. Yeah. And the whole thing is like Samus and the crew are trying to get back to their own dimension, but Samus is having to contend with the fact that she couldn't save these people. She couldn't. The Lamorn are completely lost.
Right.
They're looking for someone to save them. It's way too fucking late. The Grievers are everywhere. You don't see a living Lamorn. Every time you get called the Chosen One, it's from a recording. And the further you get in, the more it's like, I wonder if you're listening to this. And they never address
You don't know how long it's been since all of the Lamorn were dead.
Right. You have no idea how long it's been. And Samus is never addressed as Samus by anyone but the people she came with and Psylocke.
And frankly, I'm a huge sucker for a civilization past its prime.
Yeah.
That shit is always good.
Yeah, the
Chozo, it's drawing directly from the Chozo civilization.
The Chozo and is something that has analog with Phazon.
Yeah. Also reminds me of the Forerunners.
Yeah, the Halo. Yeah, and there's a lot of Halo
Halo 4
in this game because
people compare a lot to Halo 4.
I think, but I think they do it with maybe a touch too much subtlety, where it feels like there's something missing. If you're
I don't agree with that.
Stuff.
I actually thought the forced recordings were a little much.
Which ones?
There's a lot of recordings that show
you mean
that are not logbooks. You know what I mean?
I understand what you mean. Yeah,
they're almost like you need to understand what the story is.
Here, yeah.
We're gonna tell you what the story is.
I think
I agree with that, and I also get the parallel with the Federation troopers and the Lamorn and Samus not having any control, but it's also like that's not really a good way to resolve a story. Also, when when it's off screen, maybe they're dead. You don't even see if Psylocke is dead.
Yeah.
And there's no explosion. You don't know, right?
Right. And and that's the thing. If we're okay, I may as well talk about the ending.
Yeah.
I think the ending,
especially because the secret ending. I actually thought the secret ending was pretty tight.
The secret ending's dope. The secret ending is great.
Yeah.
I think the stuff with Psylocke is somewhat unearned.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that they tried to string things, some stuff was happening with him, and he's been, if you read his scans, it directly references the end of Prime 3. It directly references Federation Force and the Metroid he stole 3 years before this game happens.
Do I need to play Federation?
If you do, then I'll play it with you with my full stack fucking mech and shit. But otherwise,
Betsy.
No, there's no Betsy in that game. I think that they really wanted to follow through with Psylocke, and in attempting to do so, they kind of force you to imagine most of what his motivation is, which is okay sometimes. But I think here you get to the end and you have to kind of infer that because you scan one of the healing pods, it's like, whoever's in the healing pod gets the power, gets psychically linked to Chrono Tower, which is he's been in the pod the entire game, Sephiroth has been in the fucking crater the whole game.
Yeah, because every time you see Sephiroth, he's a fucking robot.
Yeah, exactly. Every time you see Psylocke, it's the Cybots, which is funny. They named those on purpose.
Right.
I think
it's almost like they took Psylocke and they're like, what can we do with Psylocke? Let's make this a psychic game.
And that leans over into the other thing where I said this before, but I think I appreciate that this game feels more magical.
No, I agree with that.
Mystical.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I like that about it, and
I feel like Prime 1 was like that to a large degree.
Prime 1 had some of that.
Chozo ghosts, all the weird shit.
I playing it, it's way more mechanical. There's ghosts in it. It's way more. I think your abilities as Samus Aran are very mechanical. There's no mysticism to it outside of just the mystery of how does she generate.
Yeah, in terms of your abilities, for sure. But I think just the highly natural and organic element of Talos 4, it feels to me like it's more fantastical than.
I think it feels more straight up science fiction rather than
fantasy.
rather than fantasy like Prime 4 is, which is part of like I said, it's part of why I feel like Prime 4 is a bit more of a feminine game, despite it not being like directed by a bunch of women, which was a little disappointing when I looked at Crash and Curse. But regardless, the what
Woke
was it?
is back.
Huh?
Woke is back.
Woke is back. All right. The shit, I forgot exactly what I was about to say. I was talking about the mysticism. The fantastical stuff, Samus' abilities, the world. Oh, okay. So the world. When you're going through the world, a lot of it is very like directed. You're going to a certain point, turning something on or activating something, and then coming back and seeing it differently on your way back out. I know this doesn't feel very adventurous to some players. I think it does feel that way to others, where you're seeing the remnants of this, like I said, this failed civilization, basically. You're seeing the remnants of what still does and doesn't work and how they handle things. Like the whole the Vault Forge bike manufacturing facility.
Right.
That shit's funny as hell.
That shit's good. The way that it'll grab you.
It looks like the ball is like, this is it throws you in the trash.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's clever shit. And
that shit was all very good.
I think they had a lot of cool ideas that they wanted to make sure you saw and make sure people saw.
Yeah.
Like you as the player and everybody else. I think they didn't want you to miss anything. Because there are, like, if you play Metroid Prime 1 a specific, like, not a specific way, but if you play it a certain way, there are places you just cannot go.
Yeah.
You can just completely miss them. Like the Sun Tower where the Wave Buster is, you can just miss it.
Right.
And they didn't want you to do that with anything in this game. I think to its benefit in some ways, and, you know,
to its detriment.
To its detriment in others. So a lot of the times that you play through this game, you're going to be doing it the same way. You're going to be doing it the same way as other people. What changes is kind of how you plan your green energy collection and how you get some of the power-ups between.
I mean, now that I know, I can just do none of it until the end of the game.
Yeah.
I've got the fucking radar and the power bomb.
Right. It's like once you have the power bomb, the whole green energy thing kind of, they don't explicitly tell you to start doing it. And then it gets brought up at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And by the time you need to do it, it's pretty easy. Go ahead.
Not to interrupt you, was the mech collection.
Yeah.
You can start that way earlier.
You can start that really. I started really early.
I didn't even know I could start it until like literally they were like, you need to collect you motherfucker. That's all you have left.
Like as soon as I got the teleporter,
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. As soon as I was given the teleporter, whatever, I was like, oh, that's what it's for.
I never saw or found Takabi. I found the other things because I had the scout bot.
Yeah.
But I kept going to the other ones and being like, I guess I come back later.
Interesting. Yeah. Takabi shows up like after certain points. I think the last one you have to.
What I wish is that those you could do in any order.
Yeah. You kind of have to just accept
do those in
where
any
they
order.
are.
Yeah.
And I part of that is making sure that the other characters, like the other characters, are not made out to be helpless.
Right.
They could probably have figured something out if Samus wasn't there.
Right.
And I think that's part of the way the ending is, where it's like they do reference like you think a bunch of grievers are going to kill us, like come on now. They do stuff like that to help for you to maybe you leave them, but you don't kill them. You don't, like Silex is there. They might be able to figure out what to do, but I think leaving that open is part of the mystery of them trying to preserve some mystery, because
it could be.
Yeah, they resist explicitly telling you a lot of different things about the world. They really just tell you what you need to know to get where you're going, which is completely fine. Like why they don't even really mention why they use a mech to control the mechs now, where it used to be human pilots in Federation Force. You know what I mean? Why they're so fucking big now.
View.
Yeah, View. I don't remember what the number was, but
whatever the number of the virtual boy unit is.
Is that really what it is?
Yeah.
That's funny as shit. I didn't know that. See, that's the kind of like little things. There's a lot of little stuff that adds up if you're paying attention to it. And I think that the game, when I'm in the seat playing it, if I have to put numbers on it, I'm like, this game is a 9. When I sit back and think about it, I'm like, this okay. The 8 makes sense, because I start thinking about like, why was I in the desert that long? I chose to be there, but like why do I have to do this? I don't hate that I'm doing it, but why am I doing it?
Yeah.
And I think that even more when I'm playing Prime 1, where Prime 1 is like a teeny tiny game in comparison, like physically.
Little toy box.
But it's also very dense. You're always getting something. You're always doing something. You're always if you're doing it right, you always feel like you're moving forward, even when you're backtracking. And like Prime 4 has some of that, but it's very obvious that what you're doing is going like slingshotting rather than going in and then coming around.
You feel the backtracking more because of the scale of the world.
Yeah,
like the scale of the desert feels so much bigger than the other areas.
Yeah.
Even though it's probably not from a time perspective.
Yeah.
But it just feels like it dwarfs all the other areas. So it's like, okay, I just went to the flare pool and I turned this thing on and now I have to go back to the jungle camp. And so it, like when you compare what it feels like, when it looks like, it's like I'm doing this tiny thing, crossing this huge desert, doing this tiny thing to check in with Mackenzie, crossing this huge desert, going to the next area.
But I think that does something hypothetical, like theoretically, that does something good for the pacing.
No, I agree. I do think that it's necessary to some degree.
Yeah.
I just think sort of like that implementation, again, like small things probably could ease it up. I agree that fast travel would kind of like fuck the whole thing.
Fast travel would, I think,
kind of fuck up the pacing entirely.
When I got the teleporter, I thought it was also going to be fast travel.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wouldn't have minded that because I would have liked
to
go into.
It's later in the game because it's after Takagi.
Yeah, I would have liked to just be able to go to the doors of the zones.
Right.
But at the same time, I think the way the zones are set up, they feel really manageable too. Like I don't ever feel overwhelmed thinking about this game like I do with
how much you have to backtrack.
With how much, like, if I want to get all the power ups, I feel like the cleanup is like I could do it. I don't feel like I should save it for another time.
And I do think there's some. I think the level design is underappreciated in that way because I think that's part of why. Right? It's like Fury Green has enough of a loop part. That like it's like okay. I don't have to do the whole thing. And the mines especially. I was like, oh my god, the mine, because the mines is probably the longest single shot of the game.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if I want to go back there. But then once I actually did it, you've got the elevator.
You get the elevator.
You can go multiple ways around. It's got a couple different loops. Yeah. So I was like, okay, that was nothing.
Yeah. Like when I was playing through Phazon Mines in Prime 1, I was like, this is kind of how most of the areas are designed.
Yeah,
you kind of just
I would actually argue Phazon Mines is a little bit more painful than any of the areas in Prime 4.
Sure, yeah. I think that is the opposite end of how I feel about the world design, where I kind of do wish there were spots that felt
a little more painful,
a little more windy.
Yeah,
because part of my favorite thing with these games is planning a route. And you can do some of that, but it's more of a planning like
it's more a planning of timing.
Exactly.
When am I going to
do
this? When do I bother?
How do I wrap my way around here to do this? Because Prime 1, I'll even like plan a route to avoid a room that I find annoying.
Yeah.
Because it's like I can go in there and it'll like distance-wise it'll be shorter, but because I have to like deal with Chozo Ghosts or I have to do this, I'd rather go this way.
Right.
Because
I do like that's the sort of like subconscious player choice and freedom that I do think people don't know what they're saying when they're saying it, but that's the part where they don't. That's what they miss in Prime 4.
And I think a lot of what this game has for normal users, I'm not talking about reviewers specifically, but I think there's a lot of stuff that people want that they don't necessarily know how to articulate. So when they don't get that thing, they just feel that it's missing, but they don't understand what is missing.
Right.
And it's fine to want things that aren't there, but I also think it was important for me to take this game for what it is and not the expectations that I may have had for it from the other games and the time. And when I took it for what it was, like I said, it's the game. I don't remember where I read this because I agreed with it when I saw it, but I do think that it handles a lot of its subtle elements in a way that like comes together that feels like a little bit more tonally mature for what the game is. Like even just the freezing things and them falling and breaking is less video gamey. And they started to pull away from it being as like Metroid Prime 1 is very gamey. That's part of why I really like it.
It's a game box.
Yeah. This game is a little less gamey, and it's, to me, it's like the whole thing is a metaphor for not being able to save it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they did what they could.
Yeah.
And I appreciate what came out. It's not going to beat Metroid Prime 1 to me, but I think I have more fun playing. Like the game doesn't give me in a literal headache like Prime 2 does. I think Prime 2 is a great game, and I really want to remaster Prime 2 and 3 right now.
Yeah.
But Prime 2 does a lot of things that get in its way because it's trying to be too complicated. Whereas this game tries to simplify and streamline a lot of different things to the point of it feeling like there should be something there when there isn't.
Right.
And like the last fight with Psylux, I actually liked the fight, but I also think it's like not as good a fight as the last Dark Samus fight as the Emperor Ing.
I don't think it was as good of a fight as Omega Griever.
Yeah, I think Omega Griever is a really
fun fight.
Yeah, Omega Griever is great. I think, and I think what is it? Like, what the fuck boss is it? I think Dark Samus and what do you fight before Dark Samus? Well, regardless, I think Dark Samus.
I haven't beaten Prime 2. So.
Oh.
So, it's fine.
Okay.
You can spoil.
Well, the last
Quadraxis. I know
not Quadraxis. Quadraxis, I think, is overrated. I think Quadraxis is more spectacle than it is like actual savage. Like mechanical interesting. You just fucking spider ball when it tells you to.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do think that kind of like quote unquote like wet fart of an ending kind of says something about the nature of the
of loss.
This game has a lot, whether deliberate or not, has a lot of like phantom painisms to me.
I know what you mean by that.
Yeah,
I know what you mean by that. Like it knows what it cannot achieve, almost.
Right. Yeah. So in doing so, it's like you kind of get this.
It knows what its players want, and it knows that it can't. It knows that it can't
give them that. So it makes you reach for it. And even like you get a literal reaching for the teleporter keys and when you get the gem. There's a lot of little things that kind of speak to the way this game was developed, in my opinion, to the mentality of the people making it, trying to live up to the legacy of the series that came before them. Literally, half the shit in this game is about legacy and about people that
think they
are
can
not
go beyond
there
now.
See, I think what they did is they went beyond the expectations they had for that the game was supposed to have, and they created something that is they created something that they could be happy with.
Right.
And they just
they
put into the world and see, like, they know they worked hard on it and not worry about how the world perceived it. Because, like, I don't think games, especially from Nintendo or anyone, are like automatic 9 out of 10s anymore when it comes to reviewers and stuff like that. And I think the length of time, the just amount of things going on and the expectations is what caused the Metacritic score or whatever to land where it did. At the same time, it's not like those people's opinions are illegitimate or anything like that. That's what I'm saying at all. Mm-hmm. I'm saying they're more legitimate now because we're seeing the whole scale, and I wonder how they'd feel if if these people writing about games now played Prime 1, played Prime 2, played Prime 3, and how that progression would feel.
It's interesting you mentioned that. There's a guy named his name is Matt Casamassina.
Yeah, he's in Perfect Dark as a face.
He was tweeting as he was playing Prime 4.
Yeah.
And he was very positive on the game.
Yeah.
His last review on IGN was Prime 3. And so he was like, I want to do this. Like, I know nobody follows me, but I want to do this for me. And it was interesting seeing him go through it. And he had small criticisms, like things with the desert, like things that he said like could have been better. But overall, he was very positive on the game, and he thought it was like genuinely interesting, right? Yeah. Like we're like kind of what we're saying.
I think for me, the game is different enough from the other games, and I'm very happy that it's different from the other games.
Definitely happy it's different.
Yeah. I can play all the games, and
they all have their own identity.
It's like the first one is gameplay focused, the second one is world focused, the third one is narrative focused, and the fourth one is character focused. That works for me. Those are like four pillars of Metroid Prime now to me. And I didn't get to mention hard mode, but there's not that much to talk about with hard mode. But
is it worth playing?
It is worth playing.
Okay.
Because early on, especially, those Cybots literally shred you.
Oh, shit.
You'll start to learn how to place them so they shoot their lasers in a spot. Because if they hit you with the laser, you lose like 3 energy tanks instantly. Fuck. And imagine the game only gives you 2 as freebies.
Yeah.
So the first time I encountered them, I just, oh shit, I'm dead. I couldn't tank that. I'm fucking shredded.
That's
deep.
really funny.
So I actually had to consider like.
That's actually kind of cool.
I cleared a room. I went back and saved.
Does it feel like everything's more bullet spongy?
So the funny thing is, it feels like you then have to really learn that enemies have weaknesses, which is where like I understood the Lemoran thing with the chest,
like it
but then I really really understood it
because that was part of my issue going through normal mode. Is that like I could tell they had weaknesses, but I couldn't tell enough to know what the weakness
be confident
was
about what they were. Yeah,
like I knew there were graphical effects. I knew that sometimes they died a little bit faster because I was cycling through stuff.
Yeah,
but it was too subtle of a difference for me to like know exactly what the weakness was.
It's like when let's say when I brought up the Grievers already. When the Griever jumps at you, shoot it in the chest, it'll just.
I mean, I did that with ice, which was fun. Yeah,
it
just shatters.
Like that jump is an opportunity,
right?
And it's like there's action game design in a lot of the enemies, but I think there aren't enough.
Do you
bipedal enemies
the game would be better received if people could play hard mode off the rip?
I was wishing that I could play hard mode immediately. I feel
like the people that complained about Metroid Prime 4 probably would have had enough like challenge with hard mode that it probably would have made them recognize more of what makes it good.
Makes it fun. Yeah, I think I do think they should have just let you play hard mode. I get it as a bonus. They should have let you play hard mode and then had another mode that was called like not hyper mode, but
dread mode.
Even like beyond mode or some shit. Where because in hard mode you can't the save stations don't refill your ammo.
Right.
I think like let's say give me a mode that doesn't even refill your fucking health.
Yeah.
That's like you play Metroid 1, where you have to farm your shit back. But I like I have a bunch of little ideas I could have for that. One including no fucking hints. Just give me something that lets me turn the hints off. That's the one thing I think if they were to patch the game in some way, turn off the hints.
I don't think it's without reason to think they might patch the game. What makes you think they're not going to ever touch this game again?
Just the length. It feels done to me. Like it feels done. It's not a game that like they had the day one patch. I think everything in there is included. Almost everything works except for when I got knocked out of Silux's arena that one time.
But even games that I never would have thought gotten patched, like some Zelda games.
I mean, even Dread got patches for new difficulty and shit.
So. Dread got a bunch of patches. Yeah. It got like 3 patches, like the boss content patches.
Yeah.
Like Echoes of Wisdom got quality of life patches. You know what I mean? Like that's a game I never would have thought would have gotten a patch.
Yeah. There's a chance. I'm not going to expect it.
Sure.
Like it's not something I expect. But that and then let find a way to unlock those amiibo things without like just via playing. Because I realize I missed out on the bike colors just entirely. And for both of my playthroughs, even if I scan the shit now, like I need to start a new game because I have mission complete in all 3 save files right now. And the colors are cool. I looked them up. I was like, oh, it's like Metroid Prime themed and this theme, the various suit theme. I was like, damn. There should be a way to unlock that shit without it. There should be a way to unlock the radio without it.
That's one of those things that I almost feel like they'll patch to unlock them.
To unlock them down the road.
Down the road, once they're like, they stop making the amiibos or whatever.
It could even be like, 100% the game to unlock this. And if you already did it, then it pops, flips on. Yeah. Or, drive this distance in Viola and Broom.
All right. Final question.
Go ahead.
Do you think there's going to be a Prime 5?
It
doesn't have to be based in reason. It can be gut feeling.
I have 2 opinions on that. I think there's going to be another Prime game. It might not be called Number 5. I think there could be another Prime game. It might not even be about Samus.
Could be a different hunter.
Could be different hunters. Yeah, Camden.
Camden.
Yeah. It could be about anything else. It might not necessarily be about Samus. I don't necessarily think it would happen on Vuros, but who knows? Even Silux can still teleport.
Yeah.
So it might be about them. They grab onto him at the end of the game, and he teleports somewhere, and now they have to figure something out.
Federation Force 2.
Maybe. And, speaking of Silux in that scene, though, I watched it again in hard mode, and like,
he's huge.
I didn't realize he was.
It's like one guy grabbed onto his arm.
Forearm is like.
I mean, but so is Samus.
Samus is huge too, but I didn't realize how fucking big he was, considering his origin as a Federation guy.
Right. But I mean, Samus is also a person.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know what's up with these people in their fucking power suits.
Yeah.
Maybe it's elongating them.
Yeah. I mean, Samus. Yeah, Samus is it's weird. And they
b-ball player.
They didn't compromise and try to make her match anything from like other Emerald Zero Mission like they kind of did with the other games. But they did do one thing to her face. Can you tell me what it is?
I would have to go back and look. No, what is it?
There's one specific thing they added to Samus's face that's like from the other, that's not in the other Prime games, but it's a specific thing to her now.
What?
Since Other M.
What?
The mole.
Oh, they added
it?
They
put the mole. The mole is on her face. And it's like, y'all motherfuckers really fucking did that.
I didn't notice that in the cutscene. I'll have to go back and watch it. I mean, I don't have to go back and watch it.
You don't have
it's
to
the
go
most
back
unimportant
and watch it.
detail.
But yeah, I think we're gonna get more Prime. I think Prime is...
It's selling really well.
Yeah, I think what we
Prime.
have here... Yeah, for Prime. What we have is now a chance for them to build something just for Switch 2.
Right.
Without all the baggage that came from, promising it on Switch 1.
2017. Yeah.
Yeah. No COVID development this time.
Right.
Or I say that, and this happens again. But
I genuinely think a Hunter's remake fully, where the story mode is not the same boring ass boss every time,
like the same two bosses, and then
I think could like genuinely be good. Like they could take 80% of the Hunter's DNA, and make a Switch 2 exclusive. Oh, I see. I mean, it's like normal and subtle.
Yeah, it's a realistic.
It's not like
but
it's not like Other M,
but it's in exactly the place that it's supposed to be, which is hilarious. But yeah, no, I think something. It feels like they really want to expand the world, like from past Samus. Even Dread did the same thing, where Samus becomes the Metroid, and then it's like, where's she go? Where's she going? And now she's kind of like, she might be considered a threat, and things might be coming down.
She might be the villain.
Yeah, who knows? She was the last boss of Federation Force.
Was she?
She was mind controlled.
That's funny.
Pirate shit, which kind of adds up because the mind control is something that Silence's Metroids do, which don't get a lot of attention, but they're the ones.
It's just the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I know we're trying to end. I'm just gonna say this one more thing. It's another one of those subtle things where all the bosses in the game are actually intelligent beings. Some of them name themselves, beside the computer, of course, Zelios, but they're all attacking you because the Metroids came with Psylocke from the explosion, and they're just like fucking them up. And then the last one, the last guardian of the teleporter key, you never see it.
The Griever?
No, the Griever isn't the guardian. If you go into the hologram room, there's a digger thing. The Griever fucking killed it, which is why the podium is there already, and the symbols of the teleporter key are already on the ground. I did not
put that together.
Yeah, that's why Samus is like, what the fuck? Like, why is this shit here? And the Griever shows up. It's like, oh, fuck, because you fucking killed it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's like that. It's the subtle shit that's in the game that I think just...
It's good, yeah.
So
it's good, though. I think I'd prefer it to be subtle that you can go back to than it to be bludgeoned over their fucking head.
And I think this game is going to be... I think it's got a lot of issues, but I think when people come back to it, people are going to be more kind to it because
for sure.
They won't have the baggage of the weight anymore.
Right.
So, yeah.
All right, we've done it. Going into the new year, new us. All right. You like the shit? Give us an email at memoryleakpodcast@gmail.com. Give us a like, give a whatever, give a thing.
Yeah.
Follow, join, subscribe. Whatever you want to do.
Facebook, MySpace.
We're on Facebook and MySpace. We're not on either of those. We're not on Twitter. We're not on X the Everything app. We're not on Instagram. We're not on TikTok.
That's right.
We're not on Discord.
That's right.
Is it?
Huh?
I said we're not on Discord.
Not on Discord.
Nobody's ever going to find us. We are on Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Podbean.
Yep.
Let's crack it up.
Mental issues, but all right.
Later, gamers.
We'll see you guys next year.